Hello there everyone, and welcome back to Empire Total War with the Imperial Splendour mod, Rise of the Republic. This is the first time that I'm doing this mod, and it's because of the vote that we had. So we voted on what mod we should do, and Imperial Splendour won kinda hands down. I don't think there was any other that came close to that. Well, no, in fact, the so-called the Shogun 2 Portugal mod actually got pretty close at 28% compared to this that got like 35 or something like that. I can't exactly remember. However, in terms of what nation to play, that was a much closer vote, where for a very long time Sweden and Prussia low were neck and neck. I think 31%. But as it went along, Prussia went ahead and it went up to 32 and then 33. So it won that round. And that is why we're going to play Imperial Splendour, Rise of the Republic as Prussia. Because you guys voted on it. We're going to do Grand Campaign. I'm going to go ahead and switch over. One thing to say about this is I was so set at the start of this that I was gonna play France. So I was already looking at, what intro music am I gonna put for my French intro? And I kinda get that this mod is... first of all, there's very few nations you can actually play as. And then, of the nations you can play as, not all of them are that great. I tested out most of these nations. For example, USA, they have a very limited amount of troops and stuff. It looks as though the most fleshed out nations in this mod is Great Britain and France. And it would have actually been quite interesting to have played as France, because they start off at a pretty difficult situation. They've lost a lot of North American territory. They start off with a budget deficit, almost a revolution going on in their home region. They're going to go at war with Great Britain once more. There's a British invasion force over here and over in this territory. And then for the rounds that I played, the Indians attacked as well. So you've got all this, you know, not enough money, revolution, war on the horizon. So that would have been quite difficult. But we're gonna play as Prussia, because that was you guys voted for. And you can see the stats that I've put out there. Long campaign. With that said, let's go ahead and start, shall we? Right, and here we are on the campaign map. There's a few things that needs to be done before we can look at what we're going to do in terms of warfare. Kind of interesting if you look at how they've detailed this town. So I imagine at some point it's all gonna look kind of like this. Very nice town. We've also... well, Paris is not, but London is also decked out. So it seems, I mean, the fact that they've decked out London and Hanover kind of suggests that I think actually the British are the most fleshed out faction, with France coming in second. And then I'm not entirely sure where Prussia ends up. One thing that we do have is a lot of troops. So we've got armies all over the place. Probably recognize this guy, Gerhard von Blücher. I've also gone ahead and taken the liberty to increase the size of all the troops to 450, compared to these should normally be, I think, 180 when in the standard version. So I've increased the regiment size, and really what that is because all the units are very expensive. So a normal infantry unit, let's see where we can find it. A normal infantry musketeer battalion of line infantry costs almost 2,000 gold, and a lot of them are quite expensive. So I've gone ahead and increased it. Prussia is not one of the worst nations though. there's one interesting case when I looked through the different units. There's a Russian unit that has an upkeep. A Russian elite unit has an upkeep of 1100 golds per turn. 1100 gold. If you compare that to, say, some of these guys that have 300 roughly, that would mean that that's almost the equivalent of 4 units. And in no way or shape is that Leibgewarte unit that good that it would cost that much in upkeep, and then it costs like 3,000 to recruit. So I don't even know why you would ever want a unit like that. Yes, with that said, I think we'll go through technology. So interesting here, they've gone ahead and changed out technology quite a bit with a lot of different ones. The thing is though, this campaign starts in 1783, so we're already quite ahead in terms of time. So a lot of these have already been done, and so on. What we're actually gonna do is we're going to go for machine tools. I've already looked at this. So machine tools it reduces the recruitment cost for land units by 15%, which is quite a lot, and we're gonna need that given that a lot of these units are quite expensive. So we've got like this battalion of the Leibgard elite infantry that cost 2,000 to recruit. A 15% reduction would be great for that. Also, let's go ahead and see here. We got another scholar. We're gonna move both scholars over there. Nice that we managed to reduce that research time from 17 turns to 10. We also have, they've gone ahead and modded the spies. So the spies are now called envoys, and they look like this instead. So it's more of a diplomat kind of character that also acts as a spy. And I think that looks really nice actually. And our target is Poland. That is our target. There's a few things we need to change. So I've seen that they've thrown in, for a lot of these nations, they've thrown in extra schools. I am going to reduce this school to rubble though, because I don't really need it. Also, this fishing port is needing to be reduced. There is a bit of a... No, it's not... This nation does not actually suffer from that. It's a lot of the other nations. I've noticed like Sweden starts off with a very high food shortage, but Prussia doesn't. So we're going to turn this one into a trade port to increase our trade. We're going to turn this into something else. Then a school. Probably a church, in fact, to go ahead and get rid of that. And that is what we're going to do, I think, in terms of buildings. Ah yes, we're going to turn down the Grand Opera House, because, go to the building browser, the Grand Opera House goes down the line towards the Great Museum. However, if we go back here and we switch over to Royal Observatory, we jump onto the Berlin Academy, which, if you compare the Great Museum for happiness, for wealth per turn, compared to the Berlin Academy, 3 happiness, 3 technology, and 12. So that is... It doesn't give as much happiness, but it makes it up for extra technology and a lot more wealth. Actually, 3 times the wealth being generated. So we're gonna burn that building. And that is what we're gonna do in terms of those buildings right now. That seems to be fine. Roads, not right now. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we need to do. So we're gonna go ahead and attack Poland. Poland has 2 regions left, but they're also gonna drag in their vassal state of Kurland. Doubt they're gonna be able to do that much. We start off with a lot of strong armies. So we've got one on the Prussia right here, going to be able to march on Warsaw. It's going to get a lot of extra troops. However, this region is quite unhappy, so we're going to leave the Dragoon regiments. And the reason why I can move away so many troops here is, of course, because Dragoons have the garrison policing bonus. So they aid a lot in actually keeping the repression in the region. This place is also pretty unhappy. But I believe I can move the 2 musketeer units and the 12-pounder howitzer, or 25-pounder howitzer in fact. I'm gonna move them over to Königsberg under the command of Alexander von what's he called? Knobelsdorff, and then Prussia right here. Prussia's gonna move a little bit closer to the border. I want to jump in one go to Poland, but I think we're going to declare war now, so they do not have any time to go ahead and ally with anyone. Then over here, I think we'll just keep these guys in as garrison here in case there's aggression from the west. And this force in Berlin is commanded by Karl Wilhelm Ferdinand Herzog von Brunswick, with the general and stab. Pretty good units over there. And last but not least is we need to take a look at trade. United States, we're pretty friendly with the United States, so let's go ahead and see if we can't trade with them. They want a military alliance, and they want a single payment of 2,000 gold. That seems a lot. 2,000. How much am I expecting to make? I'm probably gonna make about 500, which will take me at least 4 turns before that becomes profitable. We might want to see, to start off then, say Austria. Surely Austria will not ask a lot. They will ask military alliance. They are allied with Spain, Russia and France. Could mean that in extension of this alliance, I would... No one's gonna declare war. Maybe against... I want to avoid declaring war, ending up in a war against other Protestant Western European nations. So I want to try to avoid war with the Swedes, the Danish, the English, Netherlands, Hanover and so forth. But all others I can see going to war with. Are we allied with the Saxons? We are, but we're not trading with them. So that's good. We now trade with Saxony. It's a land road, so I still got my trade open abroad. Savoy apparently is very friendly with us. Who of the small nations? They're actually the most. Not at all actually, because it says 29 here, but the because the added bonus, I guess, is not taking effect as of yet. But in fact, we are better friends with the Saxons right now. They've got military alliance and even more money. Why does everyone want to be military allied with me? How about Venice? Venice! They'll accept coin. How about the Dutch? What do you want? They want trade Eastern Prussia for some island in the Caribbean. And a military alliance. No, thank you. Portugal. How about you? Seems reasonable. Portugal didn't want a lot of money. Right, what do you want then? Fair deal. Thing is, it seems like... I think in Napoleon it actually increases the amount of stuff you can import depending on how big the nation you're sending the stuff to. But here, in Empire, I don't think that is the case. So, going for a lot of these smaller nations that are not going to ask for a lot might actually be better than going for the big nations that are probably going to end up at war with someone. Either the minor nations we have no more. I think our trade routes over sea are now stopped, so we can only have trade routes over land. Military alliance. Why don't you ask for money instead? Why don't I give you money? I have no intention right now of going against Austria. But we will at some point have to go against them. And before we end turn, or no, first we declare war on Poland. I'm gonna partition you without the aid of the others. I'm gonna be first, and I'm gonna take it all. Great partition. So we're gonna start off by Gerab. It's gonna move in over there. We're gonna see a Knöpfeldorf is gonna move down towards there. So we have that advance going on. What I want to go over before we go any further is what are the victory conditions, and we can see the victory conditions right over here. So it's basically taking over everything, kind of making a greater Germany. So we need Poland, we need Vienna, we need stuff like Alsace-Lorraine, Rhineland, and I think we're gonna need a little bit more than all of the regions here. So we're gonna expand probably a lot further, maybe even go a little bit Holy Roman Empire and go down into Italy, and then maybe towards the Balkans, up through here, the Baltic nations and stuff like that, since I need 25 regions. But the regions that I do need right here seems very much doable. So that is our goal. And with that said, we're gonna end turn. We're gonna see what happens on the world stage, and we're gonna see what Poland actually do, if they're gonna do anything to counter our aggression. Right now it looks like a pretty done deal for Warsaw in terms of the power displacement here. They've got a bit of militia and stuff, but nothing really to stand against Blucher's army. So you should be able to take that pretty easily. And with that said, let's go ahead and end turn. Poland-Lithuania comes with a counteroffer in our declaration of war. And let's go ahead and take a look at it. So, peace treaty. They will offer 500 gold in return for me ceding all of my eastern territory, Silesia, Eastern Prussia, and West Prussia, which would leave me with a single region, which would be the Brandenburg region. I don't know why they thought... Clearly Stanislav is out of his bloody mind, and it's just as well that we go ahead and seize his territory before someone else does. 500 gold for more, like 75% of my kingdom, and no single gunshot has been fired yet. This does not compute with me, sir. As we've got another development, Sweden has gone ahead and declared war on my ally Denmark. And we will honor this alliance because Sweden's got nothing on us right now. We are back after the end turn, and the Polish took the initiative of the war, moved into Eastern Prussia, and raided one of our towns. If we go over here, they raided the front line town of Tilsit. It was the army of Jan Hendrik Davkovsky, with a small force that moved in, raided the town, is now on their way to the Masurian farmlands. Alliance broken in between France and Austria. A commercial port. Ah, the Poles. They attack our port at Memel and temporarily destroy it. It's gonna cost me a whopping 3,000 to repair the cost. They probably burn the entire town. Not only that it's gonna cost me 3,000, it probably severely cut down my trade capability. Yes, no trade with Prussia, no trade with Denmark, no trade with Genoa. That's at least, say, at least 1,000, I would say, gold that we lost out of that. Which almost crashed our budget. We're down to 693 per turn. That is not great. War declared. Sweden and Russia are at war with each other. Started off with Sweden trying to attack the Russian Navy. Didn't go too well because, well, the Swedish Navy is nowhere to be seen anymore. So, and as I've already test played as Sweden, I know that they start with just a small navy right here. So if their navy is gone, they have no navy whatsoever. Which means they pose no threat to us. Gonna go ahead and build this up. Gonna go ahead and build a church here, and we're gonna build a port over here to increase our trading capabilities. I think we'll go ahead, we'll start the siege of Warsaw, but we'll wait until next turn to actually do that battle. What we're gonna do today is we're gonna take on the army that's moved in over here instead. They've left Vilnius unprotected. So what we're gonna do here is kind of clever, the Poles, in a way that they disrupted our war effort by advancing into our territory, burning this town, having one of their spies burn the entire port almost, and then posing a threat to Königsberg. However, I've got confidence in Alexander von Alexander von Knöbeldorf, and his ability to take out John Hendrik Dabrowski. And with that said, we draw into battle. We've got about 3,000 men under the command of Alexander against 2,000 Polish under the command of John Dabrowski. And with that said, let's take to the field, gentlemen. Before we start the battle, I think it's just prudent, as we've never played this mod before, or I have never played, to actually go ahead and take a look at what troops are under our command, and take a look at the uniforms and so on. Here we've got the General and Stab, right here. So here's one Knöbeldorf. Then the standard line infantry, the Musketeer Battalion, we've got over here. Actually take someone over in the light. So this is what they look like. Pretty fancy banner there. We've got the drummer and the commander of the unit. So that's what the standard Prussian infantry looks like. If we go even closer. Got all black eyes, demon eyes, every one of them. From the rear. And then we've got the Grenadier Battalion, which is all the way over here. Very similar. Not entirely sure why they do not have a flag. Why the Grenadiers don't have a flag. They're very similar. The only difference is they've got a Grenadier symbol on the hat, basically. Then we've got the artillery. So I was mistaken. I thought this was a howitzer. It's actually a mortar. So it's a mortar unit. And here's the 12-pounder cannon. Looks really nice. Big bronze cannon. Then we've got the cavalry units. So we've got the 1st Dragoon Regiment, which is this one right over here. So there's the Dragoons. And then we've got the 1st Hussars. And that is what the Hussars look like. Ready to ride into battle. Right, we're gonna deploy the Hussars over on the left side, and I'm gonna deploy the Dragoons over on the right side. And with that, I'm actually noticing quite the FPS drop. Maybe I put too many troops on the battlefield. Maybe I increased the unit size too much. Normally I don't really have a problem with Empire. But I notice it actually is falling below 30. Looking at most of the units. So I might actually have to alter this. But not for this battle though. What I would do is I would just slightly tweak it. So maybe instead of 450 we would bring it down a little bit. But we'll see. We haven't even started the battle yet. The mortars are fine. Seem to be reaching... Yeah, they reach all the way back there. So there's no problem with that. However, the 12-pounders will have to drag them up the hill here to actually be useful against the enemy. And we've got no hill on our side where we could actually put them. With that said, let's go actually start the battle, shall we? And let's advance the infantry. Yeah, I'm noticing now that the frames per second is actually god-awful. Very awful indeed. It fell way below 30, but if I'm close up here, it looks fine. But it's, I think we'll have to go ahead and we'll go have to change that after this battle to actually reduce it, which is a shame. Not entirely sure why it's so bad. Also, this one should be firing explosive. Round shot is pretty... It's not going to do anything. And then advance the Hussars. The main reason, really, why I increased the units as much as I did, they're already rather big in this mod. Oh, I completely missed this. So the Polish cavalry attacked us. They're really just going straight for it. Thing is, I'm trying to avoid looking at the battle in its whole picture because of the fact that the FPS fell so badly. And then I completely missed the fact that the Polish cavalry just charged our troops. Looks like we're winning, but we're only slightly winning. So I'm gonna detach the Grenadier Battalion to actually move over there and fire on to the enemy Lancers. Ah, the Lancers should be dropping out like flies soon, as they will be losing losing the momentum of their charge. Let's see, the Poles have set up their location over here. So we've got Polish infantry moving forward. They've got those 2 units of militia. There's 2nd cavalry, and then 1 artillery here. We've got their grenadiers over here, so we've got the Polish grenadiers. We're missing 1 enemy cannon though. They did have 2, right? Let's go ahead and see. 140 against 120. Now the Lancers are actually winning. However, my grenadiers are about to open fire. Firing into the rear of the enemy unit actually causes our unit to retreat. Generals do not have a rally button. They're gonna snag onto the grenadiers, so now to dragoons. I just want to make sure that nothing happens over here. The Lancers end up in quite a difficult situation, getting torn to pieces by the huge Grenadier Battalion. The Grenadiers will join the front line as we see another Polish charge head on into the Musketeer battalions. Not going too well for the Polish here either. Losing tons of troops. Fire, my brave Prussians, fire! Ah, they've completely flanked us. The Grenadiers will turn that way. And so will the infantry battalion. Is my cannons up on the hill now? Yes, they are. Turn towards the enemy. It would be cool if I could actually play with these big units, but it seems like I can't. It's just too much. I have been planning on getting a new computer, because I feel as though this one is having a little bit of a difficult time right now. Right, my Dragoons are back. I'm not entirely sure I will use them more though. So the Polish line, as long as I'm down here, it's kind of okay. It's not too bad. So the Polish have drawn up their line. Let's see, where have they put the Grenadiers? I think the enemy general just rode way too close to our lines. And he is getting gunned down. The Polish general is getting gunned down by our army. Partly. He managed to actually outwit the army. Almost. As he lands right in front of this Musketeer battalion. Time to go home, Polish general. The line is ready. Didn't I? Oh, I didn't ever tell the cannons to deploy. With that, once these guys are in line, we'll advance upon the enemy. We need to be careful over here, because these guys will definitely switch to canister once possible. And try to just tear up our flank as we advance upon the enemy's line. Our 12-pounders are now pounding this area, but it's not enough. I think if we switch these guys to round shot, we might actually be able to hit and destroy something over here. You know what? Why don't I deploy the Hussars to do that? The Hussars should be able to take out the artillery. Charge! Let's see, where are the cannons? There they are. I think we kind of saw gunshot from the secondary battery. Kind of looked like they came a cannonball from somewhere over here. But I kind of lost their position. Right, these guys are occupied anyways, which means they will advance the main line to meet the Polish line. Let's go over. The Hussars have lost surprisingly a lot of manpower, but they are getting fired about the Grenadiers, so they lost 60 men. Now they have taken out the Polish artillery, and we'll let them continue running through these guys and get rid of all of them. Oh, no. Try not to get shot by the enemy Grenadiers. And I think we're at this point we'll tell our 12 pounders to hold fire, as we don't want to shoot our own men. And then the grenadiers. Where's the enemy? As it is in the forest, I think we'll actually advance further here. So we got these two musketeer battalions going against the grenadiers. We got this musketeer and grenadier going against these two, marching through the forest. You can kind of barely see the Polish down there. The line's so long it takes quite a while for it to get everyone to get into place. Wonderful. We'll go up the line. We'll take a look at what's going on over here. Seems to be going okay. They've only lost 7 men compared to the Polish, which have lost almost 80 men. The musketeer battalions over here just about to open fire on the grenadiers. I think we're gonna actually get this one to flank the enemy's grenadier regiment. Doing pretty okay here, in fact. We go over here. They're down to 350 out of 500. Polish in the forest are doing a little bit better because they're covered by the forest. However, it's a pretty poor placement of the units, where half this regiment is stuck behind this one. Also creating a very thick spot right here. Did that guy just point at us? This regiment is getting absolutely torn to shreds. Are they charging? You know what? We'll counter-charge. We've got the upper hand here. And they're kind of pulling back. They're falling apart. Both regiments are in retreat. Forward the 2nd regiment and have the dragoons fall in on their flank. The enemy grenadiers are pulling back. We'll advance after them. Damn, the rain is so damned heavy. Oh, we have won. But I want to make sure that we don't have to face these guys again and have them rampage through our countryside. So I'm gonna order the cavalry to run them down while I have my infantry advancing. So we'll have the dragoons attacking over there, and we'll have the hussars coming in and attacking over there. What's this kind of clump of dead troops? That's grenadiers. Ah, you know what? That's probably one of the mortar shots that landed over there and destroyed them. Took control of the enemy's cannons. Have the hussars now sweep in from the flank. And we'll chase the Polish back into their own territory, or kill them to the last man. What are the dragoons doing? Yeah, they're doing their job. Oh, forgot that the mortar was still firing. The hussars are running through. Looks like the at least one regiment will actually make it out alive, as it were, more or less. There'll be about 100 grenadiers left. And this regiment will get out with 300 men out of this militia unit. which is quite unfortunate. But I doubt they will go further into our land. I'm pretty sure they realize they need to fall back to Vilnius and prepare to defend it against Knipfeldorf's army, which will advance upon them. Hopefully not too many men killed during this battle. A little bit of a shame, quite a shame that the frames kind of tanked. I wonder now actually if it was Polish units, or maybe it was just the amount of units in total, because now the FPS is fine and I can look down the units. I will experiment a little bit with this, and then I'll figure out what to do for the second episode, if we'll reduce it, or maybe it was just some awkwardly modded unit of the enemy that caused this. But most likely I'll have to edit down the units from 450 to maybe closer to, I'm not entirely sure, but they'll have to be reduced, unfortunately. With that said, let's go back to the campaign map and take a look at the statistics. And here we've got the stats of that battle. We deployed 2,800 men against the enemy's 2,000. We lost 460 men, while the enemy lost 1,600. Leaving only 415 of the enemy left, compared to us, which still has 2,370. It's going to be hard for them to try and control Vilnius as we advance towards them. Highest kills goes to Musketeer Battalion, followed by Grenadier Battalion and Dragoon Regiment, then the Hussars. Most of the Hussars and Dragoon Regiment kills are from retreating troops. I notice here my 12-pounder artillery only ever shot a single enemy soldier, and it seems that those 34 shots that the 25-pounder mortar did was probably from that one hit, that one lucky hit when it exploded right in the middle of the Grenadier unit. Could be useful against larger armies then, or against towns, I guess. Highest losses on my side is for Dragoons. No surprise, they actually did. They were surprised by the enemy Lancers. So they didn't get their charge bonus in a counter charge against the Lancers. And I was actually surprised, because normally what happens is that when the Lancers lose their charge bonus, they kind of start to dip down and they start to lose in the melee engagement. And it was the other way around. And then once my Musketeer Battalion started opening fire, my unit left before the Polish one did. Even though the Polish one was the one receiving most of the fire. Probably a bit of overlap there where we had some friendly fire, but... Oh, they actually fell back towards Warsaw. However, it's only the general and one militia unit. We'll march towards the border. The thing about this is it's going to cost me... it's not that bad. 2,000 to replenish the army. But 2,000 to replenish, what, a loss of 500 men-ish. It's not that great. We have 1,000 in income. We're going to have to spend some of it on repairing this town as well. Going to cost me another 2,000. Very expensive stuff. But we'll probably make that back once we take Warsaw, and then in extension when we take Vilnius, and then also when we take Kurland. Once that's done, as we are also at war with Sweden, we could see about advancing on Sweden as well and take them out, take control of the north. But as I might have to replay this episode, because of the fact that I kind of modded the units too large. We'll see, but hopefully I'll achieve similar results for that one. with all of that said, we're gonna end the episode right here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and hopefully I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye.